Welcome to my tarot tea time. We are going to be talking about some celebrity drama and analyzing things through the help of the tarot. So tarot can tell you guys a lot about your own life and a lot about the lives of other people. I just did an episode of my podcast, Bees In with Britt, this week. You guys, the link is below if you want to learn how to read your own tarot cards. But right now, we're just going to hang out. We're going to talk celebrity tea, and we're going to see what's going on with Kravis. Yes, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker, the couple that everyone is obsessed with in Hollywood right now. And there's been a lot of controversy about them. So let's see what the cards have to say about their romance and if it's real or if it's fake. Okay, so when you guys do a relationship spread, you can also do this on yourself. Do not feel like you need to know everything about the cards in order to read tarot. You are very intuitive, even if you don't think you are yet. You just have to learn how to trust your intuition. And what you can do is, if you're a very beginner tarot reader, just pull the cards, ask questions, get centered, and Google what the cards mean. This is simple. It's supposed to be fun. Let me show you how you would go through a relationship reading using Kravis as an example. So we're first going to get the energy of one partner. I'm going to start with Kourtney because I like her the best. So let's see. Okay. I'm going to lay them all out, and I'm going to tell you guys what each one is. So for Kourtney's card, I have the Three of Wands. Now, the Three of Wands is a card that in a love reading can mean, well, you guys have heard like two's company, three's a crowd. Well, when it comes to Kourtney and the energy that she brings into this love relationship, we're getting this energy that she's bringing a little bit of extra baggage with her. Three is a crowd, and that crowd is coming with Kourtney. So I think if we all, just rack our brains a little bit, we can imagine that the baggage is probably her ex, Scott. Now, if you guys watch the Kardashians like I do, you've probably seen that Scott has been making a lot of attempts, especially in the very last season of the Kardashians, to get back into Kourtney's life. They've been going on like vacations together, even with his significant others. It really does seem like Scott was getting to eat his cake and have it too, if you know what I mean. He had his girlfriend on the trip. He had Kourtney, who I think he's still in love with, on the trip. And he even said in one of the last episodes of the last season that he would marry her tomorrow, like he would be with her. So, I mean, that's a lot. And to be linked to that person and to have them in your life, that would probably be really, really difficult in the very beginning for a new relationship to flourish. So the card I pulled for Travis, which I think is going to definitely confirm this suspicion, is the Eight of Swords reversed. So that means his energy in the situation. So let me back up. You want to pull the energy of one person and then the energy of the other person in the couple. So we did Kourtney. Now we're going to pull Travis's energy. So we have the Eight of Swords in the reverse, which means that he has overcome a lot of anxiety in this relationship, which I think is great. It does seem like he's really, coming into his own. He seems happier than ever. I know from celebrity gossip and different, websites and news outlets that he has been through a lot of trauma in his life. He went through a plane crash. He lost one of his best friends, DJ AM, in that plane crash. It's just like so much tragedy. And then his ex-wife, Shannon Moakler, was just honestly making a fool of herself, like all over the tabloids, saying like nasty things about them, just a lot of really bad vibes. So it seems to me like he has had to overcome a lot of mental difficulty. It's almost like he's breaking out of this anxiety, breaking out of this energy of self-doubt. That's what the Eight of Swords in the reverse is all about. Eight of Swords is like self-imposed mental restrictions, whereas Nine of Swords is anxiety about things that are going on in the outside world, like not having enough money to pay your bills or like things that are going on right now. Eight of Swords is about things that are in your mind, like PTSD or, extreme anxiety or self-worth issues. And since this card is in the reverse, that means that in this relationship, he's overcoming those things. And I think that's awesome. That makes me really happy. So it seems like they're both really finally getting to release their baggage in this relationship. So let's see what that means about their combined energy in the relationship. Okay, so for their combined energy, so then you want to do a combined vibe. So you want to do each person separately, then a combined energy card. And their combined energy card is the Ten of Wands. Now, the Ten of Wands is a card of burdens, but it's also a card of a burden worth having. And if you think about it, overcoming things like baggage with an ex or, self-limiting beliefs and doubts, like that would be kind of a heavy load. You know what I mean? So like, I think that this really does check out. It seems to me like both Kourtney and Travis are doing the work, so to speak, in this relationship. They really are working hard to overcome different things. Maybe they're going to a therapist together. There could be things going on behind the scenes, obviously, that we don't know about, that they're doing to make their relationship smooth and help things go easier. I know that they are neighbors. So if you think about it, if you're neighbors with someone, it's probably easy to like coordinate and get your schedules in sync. And it seems like they're really doing the work right now to build a healthy relationship, a solid relationship that is allowing them to thrive. Okay, so that was their combined vibe. Let's see. Hold on. Let me have a little sip of wine first. I did say on my podcast episode that goes with this video that if you guys were hanging out at my house, we would definitely be drinking wine and talking tarot tea. So if you guys have a beverage, take a sip. So before we get the outcome of the relationship, let's do, which is the juiciest one, right? Let's do an obstacle that could stand in their way. Dun, dun, dun. And I have the Four of Cups in the reverse here. So to me, this card says that if they were to stay stuck in the past, Four of Cups energy, or keep going back and forth with old relationships, or like if either one of them was having drama with their ex and the deal with all the children, and like if they stay stuck mentally in the past and in those situations that they have both moved on from for a reason, that it would poison their present. It would poison their future. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So I do think that like in the beginning, remember when all that stuff was kind of coming out, Shannon Moakler was going back and forth saying that like Kourtney was ruining her family and all of that drama was happening. And then Scott was saying like, oh, it's really hard to watch your ex move on. I think that that was like a very critical point in their relationship where if they would have fed into that more, I think that they would have blocked their blessings. They would have kind of ruined things before they got started. But as we can see from the way that things are progressing and from the fact that this Four of Cups is in the reverse, we see that they didn't fall into that and they have overcome it. So we don't really have an obstacle card here. We have an example of of obstacles that were overcome, which I think really checks out with like what they've both gotten. Kourtney being the Three of Wands and Travis being the Eight of Swords reversed. Okay, so let's get to the good part now. What is the outcome of their relationship? So the outcome is the Ten of Pentacles, you guys. I mean, could you get a better card? That is like family stability, generational wealth. That is building a life that is prosperous and beautiful and joyful with somebody else. So Pentacle cards are always about like money and the material world. And the 10 is like the height. It is a culmination of a cycle. So both of them, have done all this stuff separately. Kourtney's doing really well in her career. She has her business push. I think that Travis has given her a lot of like cool points, which sounds very uncool. So whatever, you know what I mean though? Like he's really like given her some street cred, like some cool energy. Like she's been wearing black even more now. And like she just like isn't being cool. She like gave him a tattoo. And like, I think that her image has gotten a real boost. And I think that Poosh has gotten a real boost. She started doing more fun content. Like I just saw yesterday that she did a Poosh play with that model Miranda Kerr. And she was talking about how like it's so important to play because it keeps you young, and they did a truth or dare. Like I see her thriving. And when you're in a good place mentally and spiritually, you do start thriving. When you're happy in your love relationship, you do start doing better at work. And like, you know what I mean? Like all of your creative projects start to flourish because when you're happy, that affects everything in your life. And then when you're unhappy, as you guys probably know also, as I know firsthand, it affects everything in your life. You're just like a hot mess. So it's hard to contribute and it's hard to like do the things that you want to do. Personally, I've never been more consistent, and my aesthetic with like my brand and everything has never been better than, since January 15th, 2021 and beyond when I got married to my husband, because having this kind of stability in your life and a sense of joy and happiness every day, it really does make it easier for you to focus on the other things in your life that matter. Comment below if you guys know what I'm talking about. I want to hear if you've been through the same thing because it's a big deal. So So as we can see, she's thriving. I think he's thriving. I believe that he's the drummer for Machine Gun Kelly, which gives him some cool points or whatever. So, and then of course being with her has made him very visible in the media lately. And he's been out of the media, out of the spotlight for a long time. Like, I do not remember the last time that I really heard about him or, kind of heard about what was going on with him. Probably not since he was on that E! Show. It was like Meet the Barkers or something. Was that what it was? Comment below for that too. But he was on that E! Reality show with his ex-wife. So we really haven't heard a lot about him, in a positive sense as far as like different career moves and things he's been doing until now. And I think that he is really at the top of his game, and so is she, in a huge part, due to their relationship. I think both emotionally and internally and externally, people just love to see them together. So that is positively impacting their careers. And who knows, you guys, I could see like a Hulu spinoff show. Yeah, mark my words that I said that, okay? All right, and then I always like to do, so after you ask for your outcome card with the relationship spread, I always like to do an overall energy, like what is the overall energy and the overall purpose of this relationship in their lives? Like, why did this relationship come into their lives at this time? What's the point? And the card I got for them is the Knight of Cups, which I love. So the Knight of Cups is the card of romance. The Knight of Cups is the card that is all about like being swept off your feet. When you think of like Prince Charming or like fairy tale romance, that would be the closest to the energy of the Knight of Cups card. So I think that both of them have been through so much in their lives and in their relationships. Both of them have had very public, very messy relationships, and a lot of like drama and difficulty that it's just been right in the public eye. And now it's like they're getting this reprieve and they're suddenly getting to experience this fairy tale romance, which is why I think it's going so fast. And I think that's why everyone is fascinated with them and obsessed with them and cheering them on, because it is so refreshing and so nice in a world where people like, we see Khloe Kardashian getting cheated on by Tristan like 100 times, or going through all the drama with Lamar, or we see, honestly, I think Kris has a good relationship too with the guy that she's with now. She's been with him for a long time, Corey Gamble. That seems like a healthy relationship. But like the rest of them have just been through so much. And I think that we just love to see, especially in the media, especially in Hollywood, we love to see a couple that seems to be truly in love, because we all want that for ourselves. And like we all want that for our friends. And it can be hard to find. And we get to where we hear more of the bad than the good. So I think the reason that this is happening for them is so they can experience the good and hopefully share it with all of us so that we can get that into our consciousness and expect more, wait for more, get what we want out of our relationships too. So we can put a little spin on it there for some inspo. But you guys, thank you for listening to and watching on YouTube to this week's Tarot Tea. Tell me if you guys like this. I want to do more Tarot Tea segments because I think it's really fun to peek behind the headlines and see what the energy is, kind of tap in. And it's a great way to practice our tarot skills, right? So again, please listen to the full podcast episode if you guys are interested in tarot content. The Yay Networks podcast episode is linked below. You guys can hear the whole thing and you can learn how to read your cards without having to memorize every single card just by listening to that podcast episode. Okay, you guys, of course, there's always more content on this channel every single week. I will see you guys next time. I love you so much. Have an amazing rest of your week.